We're talking today with Fred Krupp from the Environmental Defense Fund. Mr. Krupp, what has happened to the bipartisan nature of environmental policymaking?
Well, environmental policymaking started out very bipartisan back in the 70s, and it needs to get there again. We do have real leaders in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, but we need more of them in both parties.
How do you think Congress will respond to the budget cuts proposed by the Trump administration?
Well, the early evidence is that they're looking hard at them. They understand that EPA is already at its lowest levels in real dollars in the history of the agency. And I think Scott Pruitt met with some skepticism proposing these cuts that would keep EPA from being able to do its job. So I'm hoping they reject the cuts wholesale.
And you talked about action being taken at the state level that looks promising. Can you describe some of those efforts?
Sure. In Illinois, just after the election, the legislature and the Republican Governor Rauner signed into law the Future Energy Jobs Act. And what that's going to do in terms of greenhouse gases is reduce emissions by 56%, almost double what the Obama administration Clean Power Plan would have done. And while it does that, it's going to make people healthier, the air will be cleaner, and there'll be an awful lot of jobs. That's one example. We're also looking for legislation coming out of North Carolina and California, hopefully in the near future, that also puts those states on the path to cleaner energy.
Could you talk about those two states in particular, what's going on in North Carolina and California?
In North Carolina, the effort is to advance renewable energy, and in California, the effort is to renew the state's climate bill that puts a cap that gradually declines on the amount of greenhouse gases that can be thrown into the air.
Mm-hmm. And what sorts of actions are you seeing on the international stage?
We're seeing China step into the vacuum left by the United States and pledging strong action, canceling coal-fired power plants. This year, China will launch its own cap-and-trade system, and they'll continue to construct that over the next few years. We're seeing the President of France, Macron, take actions to advance the reductions of greenhouse gases. We're seeing the same in Canada. In the last few months, we've seen both Canada and Mexico pledge to reduce methane pollution by 45% nationwide. These are all good efforts.
And final question, tell us what the Environmental Defense Fund is doing in West Oakland, California.
In West Oakland, California, we teamed up with Google, and on their Street View cars, we've been mapping and measuring pollution, air pollution that people breathe. And we've driven over a section of West Oakland 30 times. And this gives us a very fine resolution as to what the air quality is by 100 feet increments. And so it's the finest resolution map of any urban area in the world that's been created. This is the beginning of a future where we're going to be able to tell who is breathing what, and it will lead to demands that everyone's air gets cleaner. That's a really good thing, because we still have 120 million plus people in the United States, according to the American Lung Association, that are breathing air that doesn't meet health standards.